This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Oh, welcome back, everybody. I've learned so much ever since we've gotten together with her. I've never met anybody who is a professional storyteller. Like legit. Goes to different events, specializes in history, telling those stories and those tales. She's also an author. And we are going to dig into one of her books that is actually very timely for this time of the year. Carolyn Stearns joins us, our professional of the year, on the program once again. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for asking.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you back here. And we've in the past talked about how you're able to tell stories. It sounds easy. It's not. It's try it. It's not. But also you focus on history. You have this amazing fascination with history, but you're also able to remember facts, figures, situations, and all of that. We've talked about that. We dug into one of your books. Today we're going to dig into another book. Which one is this one?
This is 13 Spooky Stories from Mysterious Connecticut.
Ooh, I wasn't aware of that last part. I know you're in Connecticut, but say that part again.
From Mysterious Connecticut.
When you say that, Mysterious Connecticut, are these stories actually true?
They all have a root place here in Connecticut, many of them in Eastern Connecticut, which is, of course, my stomping grounds. One from Farmington, but that story began in Eastern Connecticut and went to Hartford and then on to Farmington, which is now a huge town. But in the early colony years, it was site of a witch trials and a witch scares. Was 20 years before the infamous Salem.
You know, you're reading my mind because I was going to go there. That Connecticut's close to, or fairly close to Massachusetts, Salem, right? Do you believe that even around the country, that that type of activity, that mentality, all of that did exist, not just in Connecticut or up in Salem?
Well, those were 1600s, and there was, I believe, driven by fear. There was so much fear with the colonists, fear of a fire wiping out the village, and there was nowhere else to go. Fear of disease, fear of natives, fear of wildlife. They were in a humongous forest that they knew no boundaries of and didn't even know of all the things that were living out there. So I think that was partly fear driven, and the fear of not surviving. If your cow got sick, you wouldn't have cheese. And if you didn't have cheese through the winter, you might starve to death. And so someone walks by and then your cow comes down sick. They're a witch, that you killed my cow.
Wow. You know what? I've never, ever considered everything you just said. And fear is, well, it actually keeps it's why we're here. Because if we didn't have fear, if we were fearless, we'd be doing things, you know, even back in the day. I'm talking the beginning of humankind, that we wouldn't be here. But I never thought about, you know, even in those times where everything was fear based because you didn't have information. You're in that forest, you're living there. You don't know what's over here, what's over there. Every day's a new day. You know, there comes a turkey walking. What the heck is that? Should I fear that? Is it, you know, is it going to bite me? Is that going to take me out? Never thought of it that way. Do you really think that people, dare I say, feared for their lives back then?
I do. And
Oh.
their religion was very fear-based, the fire and brimstone. You know,
Mm.
and yet it was the governor who put an end to it here. Governor Winthrop had been away during the time where they were hanging witches and dunking them, because if you survived a dunking, then you were a witch. You
Wow.
should drown. So they, but he came back and said, this is nonsense. Let's put an end to it. And thank goodness for his wisdom and ability to just put an end to it.
I had this fascination with an earlier time, especially the 1800s, but, consider this, before that. And in my mind says, wow, that was such, you know, that was a simpler time. Life was just so much easier. You didn't have all these distractions and all this stuff. I'm going to take that. I'm going to eat those words now based on what you're saying, because I never considered that. Makes total sense of what life was like back then. Can you share some of the tales from the book?
So they range in time span from that early years to some current day people experiencing things of the past. So written in the historical fiction genre, taking the historical thing. For an example, Gardner Lake in Salem, Connecticut has a house sunk on the bottom of it with a grand piano in it. And the lady whose house it was plays the piano in anger and sadness that she lost her piano to the bottom of the lake. And so I took that. I sat there in the dusk, watching the fog and the mist on the lake till it was almost totally dark. And then I came home and wrote my story based on the fog and the mist. And because that takes our senses away and that increases fear. And would you like a little snippet of it?
I would love it. I want to ask first before we dig into it. Is that based on a true
Yeah, the
story?
house is down there.
Is it really?
Yeah, and there's even an antique postcard, and I finally found one that shows it tipped into the ice. They were trying to skid it across the ice with oxen to move it to the other side of the lake.
An entire house.
This big house, right, with the wood stove and the piano were the only items they had not taken out of it. And they were doing fine until the local mill that used that lake for water power started to run and didn't realize what was going on. And when the water level didn't support the ice because the water level dropped, it went through.
Oh
And
my
they
gosh.
tried to rescue it and they couldn't. And it bobbed there for quite a while before sinking.
What year are we talking roughly?
Hmm. Probably very late 1800s.
Okay. I was thinking it wouldn't have been the 1600s, but even nowadays to move a house ain't easy. I can't
No.
imagine with oxen and then let's just add some ice on top of that.
Well, and it slides.
Well, they
I know of a
are.
house that was moved across the Bay of Fundy in Nova Scotia on the ice. And
Wow.
back in the day, that used to freeze solid, that seawater.
So is the house still down there?
It is. And she goes to play the piano now and then.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Please share.
So the guys that are gone out fishing, they had work a night shift, get off pre-dawn, and have decided to go fishing on Gardner Lake. Listen, Jerry murmured, the piano, there it is again. They both listened as deep, dark chords drifted to them. Hello, piano player, where are you? Frank called out softly into the mist, but the music continued, turning darker and more sinister with each passing moment. I'm developing a real dislike for piano music right now, Jerry whispered. Somewhere, as if in response to his comment, a pair of invisible hands crashed against a keyboard in a dark and dramatic throb. The notes resembled a heartbeat in rhythm. Frank shivered and said, that music is awful creepy.
Wow. What is it with lakes? Because you just brought back a memory. I'm from Long Island, New York. We have a lake called Lake Ronkonkoma. A lot of the areas around have Native American names, and there's also tales of Rat Lake is haunted, and there's, you got to be careful, and there's things that have been lost in the lake, people, vehicles, things like that. I think at one point it's like 40 feet deep, which is kind of deep for, lake in the middle of a spot. Um, what is the allure about, lakes?
challenging the fear of water.
Fair
And
enough.
things do disappear and we don't have explanations. And when we can't explain things, our mind goes to other places.
Do you think it's also partly if it's the ocean or sound, there's going to be tides and the water's going to be changing and there's going to be change where a lake is there it is. That's it.
Yeah,
Body of
it's
water done.
held almost
It,
in a time warp.
yes, that's my point. Yeah. Interesting. I got to research that house under the lake because that's kind of cool. I mean, I'd like to be the diver that went down. How many feet of water do you think it might be in? Any estimate? Yeah, are we talking, 20 feet, 60 feet,
It's a
10?
gable end to the street type house, so rather tall.
Mm,
But I
I was
don't recall,
curious.
and I probably read it at some point.
Yeah, yeah. Just curious. That's all. Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
Each of the books has a Pinterest page um, on Pinterest with images and links and so forth. And there is a picture of the house bobbing in the water on that old postcard that was hand tinted on that Pinterest page.
Wow. You know what I find interesting, Carolyn, is that this is Connecticut. I'm not from Connecticut. I'm aware of it. It's across the sound, literally. Um, but it could be in Minnesota. It could be anywhere. It's still like fascinating, interesting, and scary, spooky.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's fun if you can go and visit if you're local, but it's just as much fun to imagine it. And most of these could be imagined in another setting easily.
My point. Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And we like that
Yeah.
tantalizing, spine tingling. There is a distinct difference between spooky and horror. Um, they're in the same family. I don't go to horror. I don't go bloody, gory. I'm
Yeah.
not interested in ripping things apart and
Same.
gruesome mutilations. That's another whole piece of the genre I don't want to tread on. I just want to elicit that feeling of ooh, and then could that be real? What would I experience if I went there?
Right. If I'm driving by, even now, did I just hear piano music? Wait a minute. There's no music in my car. The radio, whatever I'm streaming, it's off. Wh- Did I really hear that? Is the word spooky? Take horror. We're going to take horror and throw that away for the moment. Spooky can also be creepy, right?
Right. Because it gives you that
The
skin
creeps.
crawl feeling
Yeah.
sometimes, but
Yeah.
everybody's trigger is different.
True.
Some have a thicker skin and an immunity to it, and they'll just read it coldly. And it depends on the mood you're in and the place you're in and the lighting you're in and whether you choose to be afraid or not. And that is choice.
And your imagination, because some of us are more visual than others. So we may generate pictures in our mind. Like my image of what you just read could be different than the other person or you or anybody else, but it doesn't matter. It's still doing its job. Those words are making imagery and then creating emotion.
It's lots of fun to write.
I could imagine. But what's interesting is it's not like you're just freewheeling it. This is based on some true stuff.
Some true stuff and some places.
Do you find it's more fun to write like that, where call it the factual house under lake piano is a starting point for you, or do you also just as much enjoy, I got a blank page or a blank screen, I'm going to just start fresh?
Yeah, I like it all.
Okay. I
and
just wondered.
and it just depends. But these seeds for stories as they be,
Ah,
they're just lots of fun to watch it grow and see where I go with it because I don't plan anything. I just go where the spirit takes me. Quite a good use of words, and tell the story as it seems to want to be told.
Well, you know what seems my analogy here would be cooking. So I have a bunch of ingredients in front of us. Could have a tomato, could have some spices, could have this, that, whatever. I may take those ingredients and create a dish. You take the same ingredients and create a different dish. The ingredients are house, underwater, the ice, the piano, and then we make a different dish. So you could write a completely different story tomorrow based on the ingredients that we have here,
That's right.
which is kind of cool. There's no almost no boundaries, past the ingredients that we have.
And I reached the Ghost of Wyndham Center. Her story I wrote with teenage characters in it, hoping to introduce kids to history in the local area and have them viewing it from their perspective in a modern time and looking back at that story and its placement in their colonial era.
I think that's fun. What else? What else can you share with us?
So one of the stories is a personal story of a hand that came up out of a grave. And it was a story I was performing, and I had a lot of fun with it. I still do, and I will tonight when I'm performing at a senior center for their spooky stories. I was the town cemetery sexton for quite a while and measured out and marked where graves would be dug or sold or
Like truly?
truly.
Oh my gosh.
And I didn't go looking for the job. The town clerk called and said, there's a lot of our family members in the cemetery. We thought one of you should look after them, and we picked you. Have you ever gotten a job that way?
No. Why, I
So
would be thinking, why are they picking me?
that's a job that gets a lot of wacky phone calls.
I'll bet.
And I was literally dressing for a funeral of a dear friend from town, an elder, and got a call that she had been walking her dog in the cemetery and she saw a bony hand coming up out of the grave, and it was draped in the dirt and moss, and she ran. It was a beautiful October day like today with the golden leaves and sunshine, and yet she was totally breathless and totally spooked. And I took her name and number and I said, I will get back to you. And I knew right then I wasn't going to make it to the funeral because the funeral was going to be at that church and cemetery. And I had to go figure this out before everybody got there.
There's no coincidences.
No. Well, I drew the grave digger who was waiting to cover the grave. I'm like, come on, bring your shovel. And we got a little project to do. And we went in search of the hand. I'd asked her some directional information, and we went searching, and he scooped up the bones on the shovel blade, and he was shaking so that the bones danced on the blade of the shovel. And then he took it and winged it up into the sky, and it fell down into the woods through the orange and yellow leaves.
Press pause. It was true.
There was bones sticking up out of the grave.
Do you feel that it was human bones? Was it somebody putting something there, playing a prank? What's resonating for you?
So I end the story with a simple phrase: raccoon ribs.
Okay. It's creepy no matter how you look at it.
It looked, both of us totally believed when we saw it from 10 feet away that it was a hand.
Are you convinced if it was raccoon related?
Oh yeah. Yeah. There
Okay.
was some debris of skin to the side of it and so forth. Didn't mean we were, and he caught on quicker because he stepped forward to scoop it up, and he kept me in suspense for a couple minutes. But we're trying to stand there right after he winged it into the woods. We're trying to stand there as the whole funeral procession passes, and we're trying to be professional about it, and not like act funny, and let them go. And then we're going back to his truck, and I'm like, what was that, Johnny? And he starts chuckling.
Wow. Gotta hand it to you. I wouldn't have the courage to do that, pun intended. Wow.
Well, that's why I dragged him into it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like
So I
these,
told
you know
that
what it
one
is?
Halloween in Boston at the Puppet Showplace Theater in a story slam competition. And I won the competition. The lady who I'd sat next to all evening didn't want to sit next to me anymore. And then I couldn't get out of Boston. My GPS would not let me leave the city, so it was haunted.
Wow. It's almost, Carolyn, it's almost as if the stories find you.
Yeah, I think there's a magnetic attraction or something. They come to me.
I really do. I really do. Wow. Got a couple of minutes left. Anything else you want to share?
So a lot of people are cautious about choosing. There is a whole market for the horror genre, and the spooky. Spooky crosses boundary lines. I'd say if you're sharing it with kids, there's nothing in here they can't read, but you have to know your own kids' triggers, and you don't need nights with nightmares. But I think it's a great way to teach history for your middle school and up grades that aren't so fragile. That it's fun, and we all celebrate Halloween because it's fun, and it's easier to make light of the fear of death and to celebrate our ancestors. And if we celebrate them with a spooky story that draws interest to their lives and times, I think we've benefited them and history.
Wow. You make this stuff fun. You really do.
I try to.
Yeah. It's like, and I believe it's your passion that shines through within all of this. These books are available on Amazon and perfect for young readers and older people like me. Like, if you think I'm not going to research that house on the lake, you're wrong.
And reading these on Halloween night would be just so much fun.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Especially the grave, just as a story itself. I got the call on how to go, but it's true.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Again, the house is true too. Carolyn, what's your website?
Carolyn Stearns, Storyteller.com.
Go to the website. All the links are there. All the information about you and what you do is there. You're amazing. I really enjoy it. Like, I wish we had more time. I could just keep going. Like you inspire our imagination. You really do.
And what a nice thing to be able to do.
Right? In a fun way. In a fun way. But here's the amazing part. We have so much digital stuff around everything, this, that, everywhere. You're doing it with the same things that were used hundreds, if not thousands of years ago. That thing called words. It's amazing. Thank you for today. I love it.
Thank you.
It's super cool. And we'll catch up soon, okay?
Have a great day.
You too. We'll be right back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.